Let us begin by thanking you most sincerely for finding time to join us on today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuluko. How's your week been and how's business going? In our several years of covering this beat, covering the taxation subsector of the Nigerian economy and presenting this program Tax Matters, we've come to realize that there are a lot of misconceptions out there, myths, legends, if you like, half-truths, which on deeper digging you discover are far from reality. A few examples. Pensioners don't pay tax. Yes, no. No, pensioners don't pay tax on their pension income, on gratuity and on the monthly pension that they earn. But if, like everybody likes to say in Nigeria, I am retired but not tired, if you begin to engage in business, you are selling cement, you are selling plastic chairs, you are running a transport business, that is business, and income tax is due on the business. If you earn rental income on your house or houses, rent is due. Even on dividends, withholding tax is paid. That is deducted at source by the paying company, and according to the tax regulations, it is final tax, but you still have to declare it in your annual tax returns, and of course, the tax has been paid. A second example, churches don't pay tax. Yes, no. Churches don't pay tax on tithes, on offerings. But if a church rents out his hall for events and money is paid, that's income and it's taxable. If the church runs a transport business, a commercial transport business, or manufactures table water, income tax is due. That is business. A third one, government does not pay tax. Yes, no. Of course, government does not pay income tax, but government pays value-added tax on its consumption. If a government ministry or department or agency purchases a refrigerator, it pays VAT at the point of purchase. If a vehicle is supplied to a ministry or department or agency, be it at federal, state or local government level, value-added tax is paid. And it is paid by the government agency because VAT, value-added tax, is a consumption tax and is paid by the consumer. But the VAT regulations go further to say that in those instances, the government MDA withholds that VAT at source, even though it is the one bearing the incidence of VAT. It adds it and withholds at source and pays over to the FIRS. Government agencies also act as deducting agents, collecting agents for withholding tax from the sums due to contractors, suppliers, or consultants. Just as every government ministry, department, or agency also acts as agent of deduction for pay as you earn from the salaries and emoluments of its staff. And this is paid to the State Board of Internal Revenue where the staff is resident. In the case of the Federal Capital Territory Abuja, to the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Now, to ensure that this activity, this role as collecting agents is played by MDAs and that it is done smoothly, the FIRS established the Government Business Tax Department late in 2012, and by January 2013, the offices in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory took off. The GBTD, the Government Business Tax Department of the FIRS, has been going around meeting with stakeholders, ministries, departments and agencies, banks, consultants and other stakeholders in a bid to ensure that everybody is on the same page. It has done this in Lagos, it has done it in Port Harcourt, and recently the train moved to Kano, precisely the 26th of August 2014. We're going to be sharing with you excerpts from proceedings at that workshop on this episode. We'll also be sitting down with the director of the GBTD, Mr. Femi Faniyi, for an interview on matters arising. At the workshop, papers were presented on agency arrangement in tax collection, on the roles of the tax authorities and the taxpayers, and the place of technology in tax payment. Expectedly, several issues arose from the presentations.
The issue of tax clearance certificate, you find that some of the TCCs are handwritten. I wonder whether with technology, whether we can standardize TCC and use technology to enhance its the certificate to make it something that cannot be forged. My third area that I want to say is that I like the idea of deducting at source when it comes to withholding taxes that are not remitted. But I wonder whether there will be reciprocity on the part of the federal agents also, because we have challenges, particularly personal income tax payee that is due from federal agencies in the state. They don't remit. And I don't know whether there should be reciprocity on that side, whether you can also deduct at source and give to our accountant generals. Thank you.
My question is on the process it takes for contractors to register and get FIRS number. Because some of us at MDA level, when it comes to conducting due diligence, we don't pay much attention to whether contractors or bidders have FIRS TIN number. So you discover that at times when you prepare your schedule and you want to send it in, the banks, keeps asking you, so and so, TIN number is not correct, that you get it. And once you fall back, to the contractor, you discover that he's not even registered. He doesn't have a TIN number. So what would the FIRS do to address this issue?
The withholding tax is not familiar to all taxpayers. It is only this VAT that each and every taxpayer may be familiar with the VAT. But with withholding tax, for example, you may, during this rainy season, a roofing from offices may be evacuated. And maybe you just go and get a carpenter from the roadside to come and roof that for you. Maybe you may contract to pay him 50,000 naira. From there, the tax authority may say you deduct withholding tax from that amount. And that carpenter may not be able to understand what is withholding tax.
And on processes of tin, you see, like I said, this thing of a thing, it shouldn't scare us. What you just need to tell the taxpayers is to go to any FIRS office with a certificate of incorporation, memorandum of association, and article of association, and he gets his TIN number free. I bet you it will not take him more than an hour to get it.
Government actually places so much trust on us as MDAs. The standard practice in VAT is that you pay your VAT to whoever you are buying something from. Not so. You go to, this hotel, for example, by the time we are making the payments on this work we are doing, we are supposed to pay 5% on top of whatever they charge us. We pay it to the hotel. It's the hotel that you normally pay to FIRS. The charge card that you buy is, VAT inclusive. But you don't pay it direct to FIRS. You pay it to the dealer who ultimately remits to us. But government at a point now feels, look, we have our own agencies, sisters to the collector, that is FIRS. Why give what will come back to us to a contractor or, a seller of a commodity out there who may never come back? Why not let us see them as our partners in progress? Sister agencies to FIRS. Let's repose the trust in them. And then there came an amendment to the law that where you now are an MDA who engages in a contract, don't pay that VAT to the contractor. As you are withholding his own tax, which is withholding tax, the VAT element also withhold it and remit direct to FIRS. I think it's a show of confidence in us. There shouldn't be any complication at all. The fact is the VAT is borne by the consumer, like I said earlier. So it is actually the government agency that is bearing the VAT of 5%, whereas the contractor is bearing the withholding tax depending on the rate. If it is a contract, 5%. If it is any of those other things which is listed, professional services and so on, is 10%. So take, for example, so that we can get it clearly, if it is a work of 100 naira, the contractor is expected to give us an invoice or an architect evaluation certificate or whatever you call it of 100 plus 5. 100 is the value, 5 naira is the VAT. 105, he gives you that bill. That's how it's supposed to be. And then you make sure 105 is already in the kitty before you award that contract. It should be like that. You make sure that you already have at least a promise or a cash backing of 105. So that at the time you are now making the payment, you remove 5 for FIRS, which is VAT. The remaining 100, you remove, if it is a contract, another 5 from his own money. If it is of 10% nature, you remove 10. So there's no confusion.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, waiting be this.
The deduction now for withholding tax.
Withholding guinea. Look, if you not pay me my correct money today, hey, Munu get me half for.
But madam, should be your company paying income tax.
Yes, that one I enough load for me to carry. Why in I won't come and join them again?
You see, withholding tax now advance payment for income tax. So when you do some kind job like contract, we go remove small from them when we won't pay you.
And when I go contract am up, no. I beg tell me another.
No. We must pay the money to FIRS within 30 days, and they go give us withholding tax credit note to take show say you don't pay part of your income tax in advance.
So
now to help make the money where you go pay at the end of the year small.
So this withholding tax something, it be like part payment of no.
Exactly, madam.
I beg you. Give me my check.
Remember, come collect your credit note.
Withholding tax, now for we own good. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
Still on Matters Arising, Tax Matters sat down with Mr. Femi Fani, Director, Government Business Tax Department at the FIRS, on the sidelines of the workshop in Kano. Welcome to this episode of Tax Matters.
Thank you.
For the purpose of clarity, sir, exactly what are you expecting the MDAs to do on your behalf with contractors and consultants, those that do business with them?
Oh, thank you very much. The MDAs are expected to help us when they are making any payments to contractors in terms of whatever jobs they have given them, to help us retain withholding tax. That is, it could be 5%, it could be 10%, but usually, if it's just contracts, and what I'm saying is that there are some other things like rent, like royalties, like professional work done, consulting, whose rates are different. But this is just, if it's just a contract of supply service, supply goods, they will help us to deduct 5% of the contract sum as withholding tax. They will remit to us on behalf of that contractor. It is an advance payment of income tax of that contract sum. Okay. And then VAT is the amount of consumption tax which the MDA is also paying for consuming that good or service. So 5%, which is not from the contract sum, is an addition that is being borne by the MDA. 5% of it should be actually provided for by the ministry or department or agency. Is also supposed to be retained, to be withheld and remitted direct to FIRS. We are expecting two things, simply put, from the MDA. We are expecting the withholding tax from the contractor's money, from contractor's income, and the VAT from their own purse to be paid to
FIRS.
Why is government paying tax to government?
Well, this is not income tax. Government doesn't make income. It's yes, you can say they are raising revenue, but it's not income because that money still comes back into the system. So there is nothing like income tax with government. But consumption tax is for everybody, whether government, whether individual, whether agency, whether NGO, in fact, that consumes a service or a good. You see, that's why they have to pay the VAT. Yes, back to, it's only interesting that it is going back. Tax. It's a consumption tax.
The federal agencies, we want to look at them as distinct from the state agencies.
Yeah.
The federal agencies, most of them are in Abuja, in the Federal Capital Territory. You are members of the same family. Is there any marked difference between the way the federal agencies are behaving and the way the state agencies are behaving?
I want to say, to a large extent, they are basically the same in terms of behavior. That's talking basically. But probably because the federal MDAs are clustered together, just like we have said, most of them are in the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. That's not to say that you don't have pockets of federal MDA,
universities, federal polytechnics. Yes, yes.
Because to pin down together majority of them in the federal capital, it's easier for our people in charge to monitor and to ensure, if you like, or enforce compliance. Yes, it's probably has been easier for us to be able to rake in what it should be our take from those federal MDAs that are together in Abuja than the ones in the respective states, and equally the state MDAs themselves. That's just basically the difference.
Okay. Let's paint a common scenario that our audience can, relate with. I'm a contractor.
Yeah.
I have a limited liability company, okay. And for the purposes of yes, if I am supplying a car to the Federal Ministry of Justice, okay, at a cost of 2 million naira, what does the government tax department expect from the Federal Ministry of Justice on that 2 million naira?
Good. If, like you have said, you are a contractor that is doing that supply, because I need to make something clear. Like I've told you, withholding tax and VAT, majorly, those are our taxes. The issue of withholding tax can only apply where there's element of contract. If you buy your item in the ordinary course of business off the shelf, if that vehicle, for example, is done by way of, you just go to any of these motor dealing companies and it is purchased directly by the Ministry of Justice without anybody serving as go-between.
Off the shelf, as it were.
Withholding tax doesn't come in. But whether contracts or contracts doesn't apply, VAT is a constant thing because value-added tax is on the product. It's on the product, it's not on the arrangement. So to now simply answer your question, that contractor, since it's involved, the elements of his own fee, the amount, if they are able to distinguish between the cost of that car from the dealing company and his own addition. So that addition of his, he will suffer 5% as withholding tax, before they pay him. That's the cost of the car plus his own fee less 5%.
Okay, you are looking at it now from the angle of its markup. Yeah. That is to say, withholding tax that you spoke about, for example, it's not on the 2 million naira. Is that what you're saying?
Withholding tax will not be on the 2 million naira.
It will be on its markup.
You see, having said that, we only do that to the extent that we can separate the cost of the item from the markup, from the fee of the contractor. But where the two are lumped together such that we cannot even distinguish which is which, we don't give standard practices that we don't give ourselves any headache. It is on that 2 million naira that withholding tax we have to go. Okay. If you are not able to convince us that this is the separation, we just go straight on the total contract sum.
Still talking about the stakeholders and how they have got on with the idea of a dedicated government business tax department. Banks are also a crucial sector in this matter.
Yes.
Because money is passed through them.
Yes.
How are you faring with them?
Yeah, thank you very much. Banks are an integral part of the arrangement. They're a major stakeholder in the system. Banks no money comes directly to our coffers again. The taxpayer will have to pay through the bank. So what we have been doing, we have been carrying them along. They have agreements that they have signed with FIRS, because if these things are not properly guided, we might be losing money. And that brings me to the fact that we have actually had some unpleasant things that have happened with some of the banks in terms of delay in remittances of our money. Okay. And you sometimes see outright conversion of these monies, whereby they don't even remit to us at all. And we have stumbled on such in the past. We have come to discover it. So that's why we always advise that our stakeholders, that is the MDAs, when they are making payments, they must insist on something we call e-ticket, electronic ticket. Once you have given your instruction to the bank or you have made any payment that it should go to FIRS, please insist there and then, that same day they said the money is being posted, for the evidence. The evidence is the e-ticket. That is the starting point from FIRS having knowledge about such payments. That's the starting point, really. I also advise that any MDA that has made any payment, whether you have obtained e-ticket or not, please do your best to let us know. Send a copy of that payment mandate or teller or whatever it is. Send it to the local office in charge of your administration so that we can follow up. We can follow up and then know which bank have not remitted which money.
We are about to anchor the ship of Tax Matters for today. We started the program by demolishing some myths in taxation. Let's serve you one more. This is on the VAT exemption list.
Now what be this? Make it say where you. They say when you side me too much, calculation is where okay.
Madam, me correct now. Now the price be that.
You are playing with fire, so me I know say they never search fast for picking things. Oh, you want to play me, why you? You want to teach me a bit?
Madam, now everything with the add VAT on top. Now so with the seller.
Madam, you dey correct o.
Stop!
Good day, madam. Any problem?
Problem there.
The thing be say una not supposed to charge VAT for baby items and other things wey dey for VAT exemption list.
Sam.
Chai! This one na wayo receipt o. Correct receipt suppose contain the things wey you buy and the VAT wey dey on top. Then other items wey not get VAT, you go put them separately. Madam, I apologize, You go change that.
Change that. You say we don't know what the government.
To pay VAT dey compulsory. Now government they use to make our life jolly, to collect and pay sharply to government. Is they correct?
FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
On exemption generally, I want us to put our mind on the reasons, picking from why do we give exemption? Is it on specific purpose or general purpose? If an item is subject to various usage, it cannot be so exempt. Anybody selling this may be tempted to think that he has a medical product. It is not. The only thing that is exempt here is this. If you knock off this, the lenses here, you can use it for sunglasses. The frames are taxable. They are not exempt. And so you must know the specific content and component of the thing we are talking about. Some people, for example, say chemicals with fertilizers, and they tell you that all of them are agri products. Industrial chemicals cannot be regarded as fertilizers. In the same vein, you go to a pharmacy shop, they say pharmaceutical products are exempt, and yet they sell provisions. If you are buying provision from a pharmacy shop, can you not say it's a pharmaceutical product? Let us examine the content of what we are claiming exemption for and be convinced that it is specific in terms of usage.
Somebody once said that tax regulations all over the world look like a minefield. Maybe, maybe not. One thing we are sure about, to navigate that minefield, you need information and education. And that's what you get on Tax Matters. So, week after week, join us on this same station, same day of the week, for information and education on taxation. Have a blessed week ahead.